Hello. Over summer, I worked on the SkyhookDM partitioner. My mentor was Jeff Lefevre, and my name is Nathaniel Tjandra. So before we start talking about Skyhook, let's go over database storages real quick. First, there are two types of partitioning that a database does. One is a row-based partition, which is handled by databases such as Postgres, MySQL, Oracle, SQL, and Teradata. And then there's column partitioning, which is handled in Vertica, Greenpump, Bigtable, or Cassandra. So when this data is usually stored, it's usually stored on some bare metal server or some cloud services right now. But Skyhook does something different. It stores it in a distributed object, which is a fancy way of saying someplace far away that you can all get the data back from. So now let's get started on the first type of partitioning I worked on as part of Skyhook. I worked on row partitioning. So this would be taking a key, and then once you have that key, we hash it in order to get a bucket ID. This is particularly useful for stuff like inserting or updating individual rows. Next, we have a column partitioning. So here we have a subset of columns. Here we have the ID, the name, the temperature, and the city. So here, if I wanted to do a ton of data analysis on, let's say, the temperature of Santa Cruz, then we can look at the column partition to get that. All right, so my main task working with Skyhook was to create an ETL layer in extract, transfer, and load. First, we extract from some input file. This could be a CSV or a JSON. And then once we have that CSV or JSON, we transform it into a pi arrow table. And finally, we take that table and then we load it into Skyhook, or currently it is stored on your local machine. Similarly, for the column partitioner, instead of hashing it, we just do a one-to-one conversion. So the first column becomes the first bucket, or the first object. The second column becomes the second object. The third column becomes the third object, and so forth. So our goals as part of Skyhook ETL was to create that row partitioner and column partitioner and have it work with arrow data. As I said earlier, we convert some input data, we turn it into a table, and then we map it. Each of these partitions are independent arrow tables so that you can perform more operations on. It is interesting to know that the union of all individual partitions is the original data. So this could be useful because let's say you have a file with 1 million objects. That's a big file. And if you hash it, then you can kind of sort it in a way that you're spreading those 1 million objects out, and you can quickly retrieve them without having to read all 1 million objects. All right. So one of the goals that I didn't finish was the Libredos client, which is to write to Skyhook. As I said earlier, it's currently just a local memory right now. So building on, I'm hoping that for future work, we can develop hybrid partitions, which are a mix and match of doing row and column. One good example of this is a range-based partition. Let's say we had some dates, and then using those dates, instead of hashing on a order key or primary key, then we just have the dates hashed. So in other words, this could be, we have a data set and we said everything in January goes in here, everything in February goes in here, everything in March goes in here. That way we separate it all by some range, in this case months. To finish off, I'd like to thank Jeff Lefevre for creating a SkyhookDM and mentoring me this summer. Thank you.